Do you know how to write a summary? A tool for college you need to have. The summary. Knowing how to write a summary is a beneficial tool in college because it checks your understanding of the reading material. It can be used as a study guide in preparing for exams, as part of a written assignment for condensing information from an assigned reading or film, relaying a personal experience, or writing a journal entry as a record of class demonstrations. A summary forces you to think about the information that you've read and taken notes from. Additionally, it further checks your understanding because it requires you to condense that information down to its essential parts. What is it? A summary is a short, concise method of stating the main idea and significant supporting details of a reading selection or textbook chapter. It can be thought of as a study outline that is connected by sentences rather than numbers, letters, or indentations. A summary condenses a larger piece of work down to its essential parts. What should a summary include? The main idea of the selection, the most essential supporting details or explanations, only the information you have read, objective and factual information from the reading, 1/4 the length of the original essay, and your own words and the use of paraphrasing skills. What a summary should not include is your opinion, what you think the author should have said, copied material, or a string of quotes from the selection. Sentence summaries. A good method to start building your skills in summary writing is to start by writing summaries of paragraphs. The key for doing this is by using all essential points in a paragraph and condensing them into only a few sentences expressed in your own words to reflect the writer's thoughts. A summary statement shows the relationship between several important ideas in a paragraph. Summary statement. How much should I write? A summary statement should include the points from the main idea sentence as well as the essential points from the supporting details. It is brief and to the point. To write the summary statement, you put to use the methods of annotation and mapping. The summary of a paragraph equals the main idea plus major details. That will be your summary. Hints for writing a brief summary for a paragraph. Read the paragraph looking for all the important ideas and facts. Annotate. Place brackets around the main idea. Underline keywords and phrases that support the main idea. Write keywords in the margin. Cross out any information that is not important. Organize. Make a map. You will need your main idea and your supporting details. So make a map with the information you underlined and marked. Write a summary that includes all the important information you've identified. Paraphrase. Don't copy the exact words from the reading. try to put the information in your own words. Read. Identify the main idea and the most important details. Computers have become a necessity for both small and large businesses today. It takes a computer less than a second to retrieve information that takes a person several hours to obtain. It is for this reason that banks, airlines, and fast food restaurants rely so heavily on them. In addition, computers can store large amounts of data in a relatively small space. Because of this, offices need less storage space equipment, such as file cabinets and supply closets. Annotate. The annotation. Computers have become a necessity for both small and large businesses today. That was the main idea. It takes less than a second to retrieve information. That is major detail 1. Computers can store large amounts of data in relatively small spaces. That is detail number 2. Now, map it. Computers are important for businesses because there is speed in information retrieval and it stores large amounts of information of data. The short summary. Computers are important for businesses because of their speed in retrieving information and their ability to store large amounts of data in small spaces. Your turn. Annotate, map, write a brief summary. What should you do? See the lab instructor. The lab instructor will give you the article to read, annotate, map, write a summary. After you complete each step, you can click the mouse to see the key so that you can check your work. The next slide shows you the article you received from the lab instructor. Read the article carefully. Remember to identify the main idea. Underline and number the essential details. Locate the writer's conclusion. Now read The Ecology of War, Earth. You may want to pause the video. The next slide will show you what your annotation should look like. Do you see where the main idea is? Lebanon is reeling under perhaps the worst ecological disruption suffered by any country in history. The first major detail has to do with the seas. They are forced to import fish from Syria and Turkey. They have an inability to enforce laws protecting the integrity of the seas. The tools for fishing are dynamite and poisonous bait, and the sea is further polluted by solid wastes and chemicals that are scattered along the beaches. The second major detail has to do with the cedar forests. The famous cedar forests, whose trees have been cut for camouflage and firewood. There's also the devastation and the vicious shooting of birds. This leads to the forests treating insects reproduce unchecked. And this has caused soil erosion and diminished the supply of the fresh water. Major detail number 3, the agriculture. Lebanon's agriculture has been devastated by occupying forces who build trenches and burn crops. And the lack of government planning has allowed uncontrolled urbanization at the expense of fertile plains. Now, what's the conclusion? There are two. A reversal of the situation will require an enormous effort on the cooperation of all citizens. Additionally, unless steps are taken and pressure is brought to bear from the international conservation community, any hope of ecological reversal may evaporate. Next step, create a map. Use the information that you annotated to create your map. You can pause here. When you're done, check your map with the slide that follows. Use this template for your map. Main idea, major details, supporting details, and your conclusion. Check your map with this one. Here's a map answer key for Ecology of War. The main idea: the once-lush country of Lebanon is now faced with a devastated ecological system due to war. Where did it happen? On the seas. They're forced to import fish from Syria. They have the inability to enforce laws to protect the seas. The fishing tools are dynamite and poisonous bait, and pollution of the shores by solid and chemical waste. Map, answer key for Ecology of War. The once lush country of Lebanon is now faced with a devastated ecological system due to war. Where? On the sea. They're forced to import fish from Syria. They have an inability to enforce laws to protect the sea. Fishing tools, dynamite and poisonous bait, pollution of shores by solid and chemical waste. Also, the cedar forests, trees cut for camouflage, shooting of birds leave tree-eating insects invade the forests, causes soil erosion and diminished water supply. The land destroyed by negligence, occupying forces, poor government planning. Trenches and burned crops, too much urbanization. Conclusion: need for cooperation of Lebanese citizens, government, and global communities to reverse ecological problems. Now, try your skill at writing a summary. When you're done, check your summary with the example on the next slide. Putting it all together. Sample summary. The Ecology of War, Earth. The article, The Ecology of War, by Rick Boyling, discusses how the once lush country of Lebanon is now faced with a devastated ecological system. He points out how the destructions of war have affected Lebanon's ecology. One such effect is that the country must now import fish from Syria and Turkey due to the nation's inability to enforce laws protecting its seas. Dynamite and poisonous bait have infiltrated the once clean waters of the Mediterranean. The sea is further polluted from unrestricted solid waste and chemicals that are dumped in the water. The cedar forests have also suffered. Trees have been cut for camouflage and firewood, while the soil has been dug out for trenches. The vicious shooting of birds has left tree-eating insects to invade the remaining trees. War has also destroyed Lebanon's agricultural industry because the land has been destroyed by negligence, occupying forces, and poor government planning or lack of it. This total damage to Lebanon's ecological system may be irreversible. In conclusion, according to the author, it will take cooperation among the Lebanese citizens as well as the international community to help repair the damage. Congratulations! You're now well prepared to write a well-organized summary for your classes.